Hi, I want to spend today talking a little bit about the business I've been working on since January when I quit my job. Uh, this is my website here. I've decided to call the business Authentic Automation Machining, AAM for short. I've incorporated under that in the last month. So I've got first couple of POs coming in, rolling in, processes some work for some customers of mine. So I'm really excited about getting this started. So I've got a few final touches that I need to put together. I know that right now, the federal government has made it pretty. They've incentivized the for the banks to do the SBA 7A loans, which is what I'm working on. Working with a couple of banks to do that. I've still got a lot of documentation I got to put together. I've got to rebudget some things, and I've got to secure the property that I'm going to be working from. So I still got so much to do, so much to do. But I want to tell a little bit about what I'm working towards, what my big goals are for this company that I'm working towards. Uh, and so, just like I said, real quick, this is the website. Nothing much to it yet because I haven't really figured out. I haven't solidified for sure exactly what machines I'm going to get because I haven't bought them. As soon as I get financing and bought, I've got that. But I do have quotes, and so I will show you really quick a couple of the machines that I'm looking at. This one I'm really, really excited about. Okay, so this is the first one that I know for a fact that I have a good market ready to go. People need this service. And it's fiber optics laser cutting machine. This is going to take plate and just cut really, really precise cuts for in steel as thick as 1 inch. So really excited about the idea of getting this in. It's a good looking machine. It's actually a good price for what I was looking at. But what this is, it's got a laser that's actually the laser's so big it can't go on the cutting head. This is the cutting head right here, and so why they call it fiber optics is because there's a fiber optic cable that runs from the laser that's off the machine all the way into the head, the cutting head here, which cuts the part. So got a little video of it as well I pulled up. That's just, I mean, this thing just looks absolutely amazing what it can do. So this is exactly the machine that I'm looking at. I actually have a video specifically of one of the machines I'm going to buy. This is not, I mean, this is this type, but it's not the exact machine that I'm going to buy. You can just see it's nice, really nice workspace. It's going to be big enough to handle most of the plates that I'm going to be looking at doing. Most of the parts, I mean, it's going to be well big enough. And I love this palette change here. So this is really nice. And I have an idea of actually doing some automation for putting material on, taking material off. So I'm really, really excited about what I could do with this kind of machine right here. But just, I mean, you watch what this thing can do. It's just, it's pretty amazing. It's amazing. Now, I think that's a little bit sped up there, but just some good looking parts, really good looking parts. And couple that with the type of machining that I'm going to be doing, because one of the things I always run into, especially at fab, so if I can go ahead and just laser cut all the parts that come through my shop, that's what my intention is to do, at least minimally. One of the things that is a constant problem that a lot of fab shops don't see with their machine shops is the machines and work holding on a torch cut part or a plasma cut part is really difficult. And one of the reasons because the cuts they're just never straight, they're never square. That impreciseness of the cuts always seems to fit up when you're doing a weld out is always a problem. And so that's one of the reasons why I want to go with this. I want to go ahead and make that next step to minimize labor. Because I don't understand. I mean, yes, there are some great fitters out there, welder fitters out there that can do amazing stuff with imperfect parts. But the better, more precise and perfect your parts are, the easier that job is for that fitter. And so minimizing the type of fit up, weld out processes that are needed by actually going ahead and saying, nope, screw it, we're not going to torch cut, even though we can. We're going to go ahead and laser cut everything because we know the precision is not necessary, but we have the ability to do it. So we're just going to do that. That way it minimizes labor because labor is going nowhere with up. It's going nowhere with up. And I know that these machines, even the value of these machines are probably going to go up. It'll probably going to go up with inflation to offset the value and cost of the interest rate of having a loan for this equipment, man. So I'm really excited about getting it. I'm really excited about this piece here. This just, it looks fantastic. So some really good looking parts. They do some pretty, uh, do some really thick stuff. I mean, this part right here is, yeah, so up to an inch thick. Anything over that, I'll have to outsource to somebody, but I don't. This is going to cover most ranges of parts I'm going to be making. So, just really excited about that. But one of the problems is they don't have any of these stock, these machines in stock. They're selling them out. So, right now they're promising me a 12-week lead time to get it. I think it's going to be more like 16 to 18 to 20. There's just no telling. There's no telling right now. The market is so volatile. Getting machines out of China, which is where this machine's assembled, is in China. Under COVID conditions is going to be difficult. So I have no doubt that initially getting going with this is going to take a while. So that's the only downside. But that's also one of the reasons why I want to move so quickly on this machine. It's like, look, I need to get it going. I need to get it going now. So I need, I don't know what kind of down payment they're going to need for that yet. I haven't discussed that with this group yet, but I do know with these other machines that I'm looking at, these machines are in stock. I've already signed sales orders. I'm ready. They're just waiting on my down payment to send the machines to me. I told them, right now I'm trying to secure financing. They're holding it for me. They're good partners in business with me so far. So one of them is a really, really nice looking bridge mill. One of the things that I did that is unique that I know of to my industry is I actually sat down and said, okay, I want to get the most value for workspace. So just like basically how a realtor or a commercial real estate investor would look at a piece of property and go, okay, how much is it per square foot? And the lower the price per square foot, the better efficiency you got for the building. I took that same kind of mentality towards buying a machine. And what I want to do is I want to make sure that I bought a machine that was the most cost effective for the work envelope that they're going to get. And I'll explain a little bit why this machine to me makes the most sense in getting started, because it's going to allow me to capture the most amount of the market for the least amount of value per inch that I can with any other machine. So a lot of traditional machine shops, they'll start with a C-style mill in which you have a table that moves in Y and in X. So you have 3 axis, machine here. We have a table, tool holder that moves in the Z axis up and down, change your height, and a table that moves in X and Y. Well, this one doesn't do that necessarily. The table moves in X, but the table's stationary in Y. And the head actually moves both in Z and Y. And I like that. For one thing, you don't have to worry about your material weight affecting your Y travel, because your Y travel and Z travel is always going to be consistent, minus a few ounces depending on the weight of the tool that you have in the spindle. So yeah, sometimes when you get to some of these bigger bigger parts that you get on your machine, you can actually start seeing some sluggishness in your and it can really affect your interpolation. So the diameter hole you can cut, you want something as perfectly round as you possibly can with these machines. And when you put weight on something, it slows things down. It causes friction. It causes sluggishness, and it can actually affect the quality of the part that you get out. When you have a machine like this, you have the head consistently getting the same amount of weight on it in Y-axis, because the part's not moving that. The only variable is along the X-axis, which can still affect it, but it's just one less axis you have to worry about, which makes it troubleshooting for quality parts much better. Secondly, because it's a dual column bridge here, we get a significant amount more Y-axis travel. So a typical C-style mill like this, you might be lucky to have 28 inches of Y travel. This is 47.24. It's a huge amount of Y travel. So again, what I was getting back to about the real estate investment. So what I did was take the square cubic inches here of what I can get per inch for the value of this machine. And because of that Y-axis, it basically doubles the value of this machine compared to a C-axis mill. Now, a C-axis mill is a little bit cheaper, so it's not as big a value difference, but just the pure fact that this machine can handle that kind of travel, that kind of market, it allows me to bring in bigger parts that gets me into a bigger market share right out of the gate. Right out of the gate with a machine, bigger market share because I have the capability of doing bigger parts than most traditional C-style mills. So I'm really excited about that, and one of the reasons why I'm really looking hard at this machine. This one's great because I actually have a video of the machine. I mean, this is specifically the machine that I'm going to buy. This is the one that's in stock in Milwaukee. This was published in October 29th. This is the one they've been trying to get rid of, and they finally got me to sign the sales order. But they're calling me, man, and they're wanting money right now. And one of the reasons they want that is because they know that this machine is about ready to get, it's ready to be sold. I think they've already had several other interested parties in it, and I'm pretty sure that they know, like I do, probably in 4 or 5 more, three or 4 more months later, this machine's going to value probably $40,000 to $50,000 more than what it is right now. What the market value is for this machine is going to go up. It's just going to go up, you know. And they're ready to get their money sold and get another one in. They need the storage space to get them in here because these are going to be hot gigs, man. These are going to be good machines. So, now, even if I can buy this machine and decide that, hey, or the business doesn't do well, there's still going to be value in the machines that I buy. And one of the reasons, I want to buy new for sure with all these because, my cash flow is going to be extremely important for this business because I am going so reliably heavy on the debt in order to make this business get it going. Unfortunately, you just really can't. You can't in this industry unless you just buy some really, really cheap used equipment. And a lot of times with used equipment, you just don't know what you're going to get. And I don't want any interruptions in my cash flow because I have equipment failures. I've got to keep that cash flow going, especially to keep up with these debts. So that's going to be really, really critical for what I'm doing. And so that's why I'm looking at new. Those are 2 of the 3. I've got one more here that I'm looking at, and that is this lathe here. So this basically covers almost every bit of the machining, everything other than I might hire a couple of welders for the shop later on, so that we have welding capability and a couple of welding machines, which they're not expensive. So I'm not too worried about getting those going. But to have this equipment, it puts us into the realm of possibilities of what we could do with minimal equipment, minimal personnel is just, it's actually mind-boggling. And I'm so excited. I mean, I can't tell you what we can probably get done with minimal amount of manpower with just this equipment. Having good equipment makes a huge difference in a manufacturing facility. So I'm excited. This machine was well valued. It's price to sale. It's a holdover just from the end of last year. We've got a sales order to try and avoid some tax, I think. It's way valued under list price. That's why I've already signed the sales order. I'm like, look, I got to get this because no matter what, I buy this tomorrow, and if I can't make it work with the business, then selling this machine, I'll get pretty much all my money back. So there's really, really minimal risk in this. So I'm excited about that. This machine, and if I can make it work and I get the parts and I get them, these machines will make money and they'll make it quick. So I'm excited. It's a good machine, good live tooling apparatus. I've run this exact machine except a little bit shorter on the bed length, so it can handle quite as long of parts as this machine is that I'm looking to buy. So that's another thing that's really, really impressive about it. I'll get that extra length, so I'll be able to take in more RFQs. I won't have to no quote. That's the last thing I want, especially with the startup. I want to be able to make sure that they send me something, I have the ability to quote it and at least ask for an opportunity to do their work. So, and with these machines, these 3 machines, I think that's really going to put us right up there at the top, right out of the gate, with minimal equipment necessary. And so, I want to try and keep things a little bit small, especially starting out. I want to make these machines run as efficiently as I possibly can, maximize their efficiency. So as we move forward in this, I'm going to try to incorporate more and more robotics. I have some ideas for how to roboticize a little bit of the plate machine, and then of course getting robots to run this equipment here. Hopefully I can get the right kind of product. So you can't really do that at job shop, which is what we're kind of going to start at. We'll be a job shop where I'll be doing actually running most of the machines here. Um, so, but that not a problem. That won't be a problem. I can keep up with 3 machines easy. Um, anyway, so I had let's see, a little video pulled up of this type of machine here. It's pretty good little view what you can do with it. I mean, it does some really beautiful parts. So like I said, I've run this machine before. They're a great machine, good machine. Very excited about the opportunity of getting this one. So, all right, now just a little bit to tell you about what I want for our shop. So I've had this idea here, for a couple of years now, about the idea of utilizing the moon. All right, I'm jumping really quick, really hell of a segue. Moon, machine shop moon. All right, so, but Trump, when he introduced this idea, and it's probably not just Trump. I mean, but it was one of the reasons I did like what Trump was doing, is that he was actually encouraging the idea that, hey, we need to do more space exploration. We need to get NASA going more and more with something new. And so when I heard this Artemis program was going into effect, I thought that was fantastic, because I've been thinking for a long time. I was actually watching the movie The Martian with Matt Damon. Good movie. Really enjoyed that. I love just a movie about problem solving and new environment. I mean, that really speaks to me. And so, but I'm watching that and I'm just thinking, man, it's really cool that he was able to launch off off Mars with minimal to necessary aerodynamic needs, because the atmosphere is so thin there. And so, to me, the moon offers a really good opportunity for humanity to overcome some of the obstacles that we have with launching large spacecraft into outer space from the Earth. So I have this idea where we're calling the moon basically the harbor to the stars, right? And so, and what I thought was really cool is that it would be great if we could set up the ability to manufacture in space based off the moon. I mean, to me, that I don't know how else you could do that, but you basically make the moon like a harbor for space. And you go out and you put these big machines together, big spacecraft on the moon, then you don't have the problems with launching is what you would have on Earth. You overcome a lot of obstacles that really keep the ability of creating big, large, man-made craft that can actually travel through space for long distances. I think the moon is the next logical step. Now, how we get there, I mean, there's a lot of challenges that will have to be overcome to get to that point, but I want to be a part of that. And that's why I'm getting into this business, and that's my segue there. Is like, I want to be a part of this opportunity, because I think these grand goals of society, of humanity, to go and look towards the stars and see what else is out there and really explore the deep recesses of space through the ability of people to overcome and manufacture in really crazy environments. And so I like that idea. I think this is a good starting point, and this is my little contribution to that. Hopefully I can do this, figure something out, and become an expert and to help facilitate that into the future. So and it was really great. It's just a little personal note. So Artemis, I didn't know much about who she was. So Artemis is the god of, she's a Greek goddess, and she was basically a goddess of nature, of the moon, protecting nature, but she was a huntress as well. And so it's an interesting contradiction there. It's like, oh, she's a huntress, but she protects the vulnerable wildlife, and she's a protector of young girls. And well, my wife is pregnant with our first girl, and I can't tell you, raising a girl right now in this environment scares me. Not because I love the idea of being a father to a young girl. I cannot wait for my baby to get here. I mean, I'm just so excited. But social media has such a grip on young girls these days. It's hard to not worry about that for me as a father, and to see the type of I'll be honest with the idolizing of women that I wouldn't consider to be really good feministic models for women these days, especially young girls, is a problem for me. So I really want to see it. But on hearing about who Artemis is and who the goddess of Artemis is she's virtuous and chastity until marriage, and protecting young girls, and then being strong and a huntress. Just a lot of values there that I was really taken aback by, and it really kind of gave me the idea about that. If for me in this environment for girls, that's the kind of archetype that I really want my daughter to pursue in her time, is to be that huntress type protective person that can be strong and independent and yet feminine at the same time. And that's what I really, really want to instill, that kind of value in her. And so it's an interesting intermingling here of how my goals for my business and my personal life are kind of amalgamating together. And so I'm really excited about it. And so I'm out here. I'm asking for help in any way that I can get from anybody who's be willing to, help a young, a guy like myself to realize his dreams. I'm really excited about the future and possibilities of what can happen. So anyway, it's good to see this happening in America. This is a good positive step, I think, in the right direction for uniting us around a really, really important goal that helps to orientate us in a positive direction for our society. And I'd like to be a part of that. And with your help, maybe I can be. So anyway, thank you for your time. Y'all have a good day.